you still want her to come down to your level when she's still trying to better herself. So maybe you need to match up that energy so you can be the best self that you really want to be, and match her energy so she can be more accepting to you. That's what I got. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Molinda Jae, and I am here to do another review, recap, and my thoughts about the season, or really the episode of Belle Collective this season. This season. So this is episode 6. So there's a lot to unpack. The title for the episode is says "Stalk It to Me." But I will just rename it to a power trip because there's a lot that went down. There was a lot going on in this episode that I just, thought it caught my eye. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We start off with the episode about Tambria and Desmond, and this was about they're wrapping up the conversation about him allegedly having an emotional connection with Letitia's best friend. This is Letitia here. Letitia's best friend, who is an interior decorator, and I believe her name is Taisha, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize if I pronounce her name wrong, but I believe her name is Taisha. And basically, all in a nutshell, in that little scene there, because it was quite short, was that he don't do drama. Desmond, aka Greedy, he don't do drama. And when it comes to Tambria, as I stated before in the last episode, that is her man right now, and she's going to stick beside him until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty, to be exact, as well as receipts being provided. All right, so that's that on that scene. Now on to the next scene where Marie, Letitia, and Latrice meet up for lunch to have a little chit chat. And before they even gathered together, Marie, she was already in the restaurant. Latrice, she just arrived at the restaurant about the same time Letitia came, and she noticed that Glenn and Letitia were, arguing on the side. And you want to stay your distance because you never know what's going to happen, but you want to keep a close eye in case something do happen, even though production is out there. And what I got from that squabble, because Glenn told Letitia at the time that he was just, looking out for her protection, because Jackson is a dangerous city. And on the flip side, Letitia's like, dude, what are you stalking me for? What are you tracking me down for? And because I'm not doing nothing. And this is all because she did not answer his phone. I mean, she could have been driving. So she, when you're driving, you 9 times out of 10, you want to answer the phone, but at the same time, you don't want to be distracted trying to answer the phone. So I'm just seeing things from both angles and what the show is presenting me in my eyes. All right. So again, Glenn, he was giving a little stalkerish vibe, trying to keep tabs on her just to make sure she gets to her destination. But at the same time, it's just like, she was along for a good period of time while you was out there working in the, on the water with your job. And all of a sudden and that was when y'all were married, and y'all still were married, but you was able to still come home and perform your husband duties, and continue the rest of your husband duties, and the rest is history. But now that y'all are not together in the same household, now you want to keep tabs on her. But eventually Letitia and Latrice was able to get into the restaurant, and they had their little kiki session, and they was making sure that Letitia was all right. And because after he told her to answer the phone next time, he just Fast and Furious, screw up out the parking lot, almost hitting folks. But that's what happened in that scene. And as I said before, it just seemed weird that he would all of a sudden be in this protective mode now when they're not together in the same household, when it could have been the same way. It probably was the same way when they were together in the household, but now it's just like the fact that he don't have access to her like he used to have, it is becoming a problem. So that's what I got from that. Now moving on to Gucci and JJ. What is interesting about this couple here in their scene is that she talked about they were together for 15 years but been married 4 years in total. Well, yeah, they've been married 4 years out of the 15 years together, I want to say. And she has 2 kids from a previous relationship, and he has 3 kids from a previous relationship. And we all know the 3 kids he has: Sanjay, Star, and Sky from the Bring It series. So when she said 15 years, I was like, so they have a long-term relationship. And also with Gucci's daughter D is 6 months pregnant and staying with them at the house as well. They're empty nesters, but they not necessarily empty nesters because of her living there. And the good thing that I like about Gucci, when she said, even though they was in that long-term relationship and it took him a minute to propose or whatever the case may be, of course, number one, you can't judge people about how many years they stayed together, because we don't know the circumstances that happened between that 15-year period. And as I said, 15 years ago. So again, what I liked, what Gucci has said was that basically he is not getting the goodies as well as the benefits until she gets the ring. And because JJ wanted her to move in with him so they can start cohabitating and stuff like that, but she was like, "No, you ain't getting nothing. You're not milking the cow before you even, you're not even milking the cow for free. So you might as well just put this ring on my finger so you can milk the cow. In return the favor, I'm able to solidify and secure and have instant protection as I'm married, so to speak." So I do thank her for saying that. Okay. But anyways, within this episode, in this scene with her and JJ, she is going to be working with Latrice and Cliff, but especially Latrice, in regards to getting her a building for extending her Goddess Links brand. So that's going to be interesting there. That's going to be a cool interaction. And then JJ, he wants to pull the guys together for like a fishing extravaganza, to get to know one another and see where their head is at and stuff like that. But other than that, Gucci, what I have to say about Gucci and JJ, they are going to be very interesting to look at in a perspective of a blended family, empty nesters but not empty nesters at the same time, as well as long-term relationship that leads to marriage type of scenario. So that's going to be interesting. Now moving on to one of the main events of the episode, which is Joshua's 7th birthday party, and that's Letitia's and Glenn's son. And what I got from that scene was basically stick to the program for the kids' sake, because if you were viewing the episode, you can tell that there were still tensions in the air. And if I'm not mistaken, it seems like the birthday happened a couple hours after the squabble that happened at the restaurant where she was meeting with Marie and Latrice, because she said that because of the cake was like slanted a little bit, and to the point where it was messing up the baby's name on the cake. And she was talking about, well, I'm so upset because, when Glenn had scurried up out of the parking lot, that's when, that he had the cake with him at the time. So I was like, oh, okay. So this happened in the same day, with them two having the squabble during lunchtime, and then fast forward with their son having a birthday party later on that evening. So of course, tensions were still flaring up around that time of their son's birthday party because of what happened earlier. So so it got to a point where they almost wanted to, like, tug on each other, or whatever case may be, or like, buck up on each other, like, what you gonna do? So it was definitely like a power trip, ego type of thing, like, what you gonna do? Like, is either Glenn it's either Glenn saying, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to get you back, but you still, shying me away, you still pushing me away. And then Tatisha's defense, she's just like, I just trying to, save my peace, protect my energy, and do what's best for our son. Because each time Glenn tried to get off topic, trying to get Letitia in back in order type of deal, or just trying to get into trying to get her to talk to him, Latrice was like, and I have to thank her on this one. Latrice was like, girl, what do you think about this cake? Girl, do you want me to help out with the gifts? In other words, sticking to the agenda, which is the birthday party, for the sake of the kid, because kids know everything, and they feel everything, they know everything, and they see everything. So the least that we can do as parents, because I had to do an ego death my dang self when it came to, when it came to me, my son's father, and stuff like that, that you have to do things for the kids, and not, and I would say hold your composure, but stick to the agenda, basically, because they can feel that energy, they can see that energy, and you don't know if that's going to play into how they proceed on in life when it comes to their interaction with their parents, or just interaction with other people in general. Okay, so it just kind of ruins or just stifles their development as they progress up in age, a sort of deal. So yes, overall, what I got from the birthday party scene was sticking to the agenda for the kids' sake, as well as try to accept people at their best. Even though you may not be at your best, but due to your partner, she is at her best right now. And it's important for you to acknowledge her at her best when it comes, and that's a form of unconditional love. Because if you're not, then you still want her to come down to your level when she's still trying to better herself. So maybe you need to match up that energy so you can be the best self that you really want to be, and match her energy so she can be more accepting to you. That's what I got. Okay. Now on to the next scene with Maria and Akeisha. This was pretty short. They meet up for a play date because Akeisha's son and Marie's grandson Zane is practically around the same age, if they are not the same age. And number one, I have to say, Akeisha, I love your necklace, your infinity necklace, when that you have your children's name on. I did peep that. I'd like to know where you got that from so I could do the same. Okay, thank you. Two, Marie, it seems like with this scene, they are just rebuilding a mutual relationship with each other, and they talked about the different struggles that each other have went through in regards to parenting and supporting family members, and the list goes on, because they did have a rocky start in the beginning, if you catch my drift. All right. And then Marie, she stated that her biggest fear of leaving is leaving early, basically transitioning early to the afterlife, to the great beyond, and everyone not being able to fend for themselves. And this is why I had said, if it wasn't from the last video or the video before that, this is why I said it's important for, as much as Marie is being superwoman to everyone, and she's starting to do that with herself within this series, but I'm pretty sure she does it wholeheartedly, consistently, as far as taking care of herself. But I had stated in the previous video that if the folks around her don't get themselves together, as far as like establishing those roots for their own self and work towards supporting one another in a healthy manner, besides her having to uphold the bargain or the financial standpoint, then it's going to feel like a whole total loss, because you lost not only a matriarchal figure, but also someone who provided you that support, that stability. And that's what is missing from a lot of households nowadays. It's a lot of broken homes. It's a whole lot of going on. And I'll explain that in another video. But I said it in the other video, and I'm so glad she said it now, because I peeped it in the beginning. I said, if these folks that or whether it's family members or whoever is relying on her for support, if they don't get their ass together, if they don't get it together now, and she ends in something some unforeseen circumstance happen along the way, knock on wood, because we don't want that to happen for her, because she's doing really well, then there is grass, okay, so to speak. So I'm glad she mentioned that. And then of course the awareness of lupus and how it affects Black and Latinx community, and it's important to stress that as well, because we already have enough ish going on within the community. So hats off to them both. On to the next scene, which is another eventful powwow with the men going fishing with Cliff and JJ. This was more like a meet and greet with the fellas. I love when reality shows have a scene with the fellas, the husbands. They get together, they cackle and joke around and stuff like that. But what caught my attention, and what I got from this segment here, is that JJ, number one, JJ wants to get Glenn's point of view, because he's already heard Letitia's point of view on the alleged rumor that has been going around that has manifested itself to them separating. And I'm with Cliff for second. I'm with Cliff. The only way to settle this dispute is do a damn DNA test. That's the only way to get that done. So you can nip it in the bud, show the paperwork, and go on with your life. Get the DNA test done. And then of course Willie, this is his first time even fishing, so he done went out and bought all the fishing accessories to accommodate his his meet and greet with the fellas with fishing, or his experience with fishing. And Willie has said, and yeah, Willie wanted the guy's point of view on what is so special about Mississippi besides infidelity. I hollered because it was just like, it was definitely the line of the episode for me, because I'm like, oh, I know what he's saying from an outsider looking in, but at the same time, hey, it was definitely for gaggles and laughs, okay. And then lastly, we wrap it up with the main event, which is the Sister Vention 2.0 that Tambra is putting together. And keep in mind, this is the second one because the first one happened last season when Latrice and Antoinette and I believe Tambra again had brought Letitia over to Tambra's house. If I'm not mistaken, it was either Tambra's house or Antoinette's house to, see, to have her look into reevaluating her relationship with Marie in regards to her disrupting her brunches every time look around that is happening. And Letitia then was was like, that is my friend and I'm gonna stick beside her, but if y'all want an intervention, you should have brought her here and not me, because it's almost like passive aggressive nature. So with the 2.0 that's happening this season, what we got from this scene, because part 2 is coming up in the next episode. Tambria is checking her plates to make sure they're not dirty. So Akeisha won't be complaining about no dirty plates. And then Akeisha brings up the no invite that she didn't attend or was not invited at the Marie's rebirth party. And she was trying to figure out how Latrice got invited, but not her. And at the time, then I was like, well, first you was not invited. And I'm surprised she didn't bring that up to Marie when they was together with the boys. But of course they was connecting on a whole nother level. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But with this time around, with her mentioning it around the ladies, I will say this: the reason why she was not invited because of how it started in the first place with Marie meeting Akeisha. Marie didn't like her then, and she said she was going to keep an eye on her because of every single time that they said something about what they was going to do, she would always come behind them saying, oh, well, me or my family already did that, as like, check, we already did that, been there, done that, so far and so on. So Marie just left it at that. And the reason why Latrice had got invited is because of Etsy had extended that olive branch and they already had history together. So with Akeisha not being invited, she just wanted to still keep the peace and not have anybody disrupt her event. So, and what was shocking was that the manager, which is Latrice's Goddess Link's manager, Joshua, he was at the event and he was telling Akeisha also what had went down at the event as well. So he was definitely giving her some tea. And of course, that's when she brought it upon herself to be like, hey, why wasn't I invited, but Latrice was? So, and then also they was trying to define shade and shady because Letitia is still confronting Akeisha about the comments that she made in regards to them being ugly, from what Tambra was telling the rest of the girls, that hey, she's been saying y'all are ugly. But when Letitia said that, I believe Akeisha was talking about the personality is ugly, which causes on the outside it makes you an ugly person, if you get what I'm saying. Instead of calling them ugly physically, as far as like personality wise, I believe Akeisha is talking about them having an ugly personality and not so more much of an ugly appearance, so to speak. So comment down below if you feel like that is what if that comment is true. Do you feel like Akeisha was talking about more of the personality, the self-impression that was left upon her, or the first impression that was left upon caused an ugly taste in her mouth, so to speak. Okay, and therefore that's when the episode ended there. But trust is gonna be part two, and they're gonna be windmilling for their life on that episode. So overall, what I got from this episode here is basically sometimes you got to put your ego to the side and get to the goal. When you're trying to get to the goal, put your egos aside and put your pride to the side in order to get to the goal. And then plus hold yourself accountable for the choices that you make that produce different outcomes. And that goes with anything, but mainly I'm pinning that to the infidelity rumors, the alleged rumors that has surfaced to where it caused a separation with Letitia and Glenn. And lastly, I'm going to always continue to raise awareness on what is affecting the community, because if we act upon it together, we can definitely, again, once we put our egos to the side, our pride to the side, we can get to the goal quicker and better and faster. And then far as like wearing my extension portion for the awareness, I definitely want to extend my condolences to all the families and to the families that are affected by the water crisis that is happening there in the Jackson area. Please keep in mind, people, that just from a blink of an eye, something can happen to you where you do need to extend a lot more gratitude to the things that you have in your life in order to bring more opportunities and blessings within your life, because you got people out here that has water problems, and meanwhile on the flip side, y'all taking it people are taking advantage of the water and still complaining day by day. Just take it day by day, people. Please continue to extend gratitude on the things that you have in your life, because there's always other people who don't have the necessities that you have or have the access that you have as well. And then because it just seems like it's a drainage problem. This is from an engineering aspect here. It just seems like there's a drainage problem there that needs to be addressed in regards to what has transpired with all this rain and built up that has happened, that led to the water being defected like that. And that definitely needs to be done, because that is a commodity and a necessity that everybody needs to have access to at all times. So yeah, that is definitely my 2 cents, my thoughts, my opinion, and recap of Belle Collective. Of course, this video is a little bit longer than the others because there was like I said, there was a lot going on in this episode. But I thank you all for tuning in. Please feel free to leave a comment down below of your thoughts and opinions about this episode, and anything that I missed that you caught on. I love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video so I can get boosted up in this algorithm. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you to those who have subscribed so far. I really appreciate it. All my social media links will be in the description box below. Just hit that link tree and all the socials and more will be there. And hit that notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video. And always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself so you can heal thyself. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.